It's so great to be here with you and to share a few thoughts with you. How many have major goals that you'd like to achieve this year and beyond? Raise your hands, please. Fantastic. Like to see that. Like to be in a place of winners. And I like to see most people raise their hands. I want to ask you another question. How many of you know that if you had your life to live over again, and even though you've done a lot of things that you feel good about, but how many of you know that if you had your life to live over again, you can do more than what you've done thus far? Raise your hands, please. Now, that proves a point that what we do and what we accomplish in life is only a tip of the iceberg of what's possible for us. What I want you to do right now is shake someone's hand firmly on your right and left, look them in the eyes and say, you have something special. Do that quickly, please. Thank you very much. I like to do that because you do. You have something special. You're here because of your discipline, because of your focus, because of your drive, because of your determination, and your willingness to do whatever was required that will allow you to be here, based upon the results that you produce, based upon your performance. You have something special that a lot of people don't have. See, you have greatness within you. And I know you've got a lot that you feel good about, but whatever you've done up to this point is only a tip of the iceberg of what's possible for you. I remember when Mr. Washington took me to see the late Dr. Norman Vincent Peale on a field trip for kids in special education. And I'll never forget Dr. Peale. He was a medium-height guy. He spoke from his diaphragm, a very, very encouraging and motivational person, very humble man. He said, you have something special. You have greatness within you, and you cannot allow yourself to take your greatness to your grave with you. You have something special. You must always challenge yourself to grow and to stretch and to find out what you have within you. And Dr. Peale, when he spoke, I was mesmerized by his voice, by his message. He gave me goose pimples, and even though I was among some 5,000 people, I felt like he was talking to me. In fact, on the way back on the bus, Mr. Washington said, Mr. Brown? I said, yes, sir. He said, you know, of all the field trips we've been on, this is the first time we didn't have to tell you to sit down and be quiet. What was it about Dr. Peale that just mesmerized you? I said, he said that we have something special. He said, yes. I said, did that include me, Mr. Washington? He said, yes, Mr. Brown. I said, then how do you explain the fact that I failed math and history and English, and I've got to go to summer school for the 5th straight year? And my twin brother, he's going to the next grade with honors. He said, Mr. Brown, your grades don't determine who you are. It only means that you have to work harder. And as he continued to talk to me, thoughts came through my mind about what I wanted to do. And he said, Mr. Brown, what do you want to do with your life? I said, I want to make my mother proud, sir. I want to do something that will let her know how much I appreciate her adopting us. And he said, Mr. Brown, it's possible. I said, you know, I'd like to one day be the person, you know, the guy that went out before Dr. Peale? He said, yes. I said, I'd like to be that kind of person. I'd like to do that one day. He said, Mr. Brown, it's possible. Repeat out to me, please. Coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. Yeah. Some 27 years later, in Chicago, Illinois, I got a call from a gentleman by the name of Og Mandino, who wrote a book called The Greatest Salesman in the World. And he said, Les, I'm supposed to open for Dr. Peale in Kankakee, Illinois, and I can't make it. Would you open for me? I said, yes. So I went to Kankakee, Illinois. I'll never forget that experience. When I was backstage, I wanted to meet Dr. Peale, and his wife, Martha, made it possible, and I was so mesmerized by his presence, I couldn't get my words out. And as I was stumbling and mumbling, a guy interrupted us, and Dr. Peale was up in age. And the guy said, Dr. Peale, how old are you? And Dr. Peale said, Sonny, I'm 92. The guy looked at him and said, I don't know if I want to live to be 92. He said, that's because you've never been 91. But what I remember more than anything about Dr. Phil, in addition to his sense of humor, was the fact that we can do so much more than we can ever begin to realize. That I cling to the fact that it's possible. I cling to the reality that we must always raise the bar on ourselves, that we must always challenge ourselves, that we must always push ourselves to discover or to release the imprisoned splendor, as Elizabeth Browning talked about. And as I began to apply that in my life, no one could have convinced me, given my circumstances, given my beginning, born in an abandoned building on a floor, being adopted, being labeled educable, mentally retarded, failing twice in school, not having any college training. No one could have convinced me that in the past 18 years, I would have been the author of 2 books, Live Your Dreams, and It's Not Over Until You Win, or produced 5 specials for public television, or 5 years ago had a nationally syndicated talk show, which was the highest rated, fastest canceled talk show in the history of television. Well, at least I had one. No one could have convinced me that I would have in the past 18 years been able to earn in excess of $30 million. Now, that's peanuts to you compared to what y'all do, but where I'm from, $30 million, a good God and a healthy hog, and you could make it through the winter in Columbus, Ohio. Let me tell you something, all right? And here's what I know about you. You have greatness within you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. How many of you have children? Raise your hands, please. My 16-year-old son approached me the other day, John Leslie, and I have 7 children. This is my youngest one. He's a real challenge. And he was upset with me because I wouldn't allow him to go to the shopping mall and walk around with his friends with his pants below his butt. What's up with that? I don't get that. Said, no, boy, you're in my house, you pull your pants up. Walking around with your underwear showing. What's wrong with you? What kind of gumption do you have? At any rate, I said, John Leslie, what does it take to become successful? And I knew what I was asking him. I wanted him to repeat it to me. And I think it's something that not only young people should embrace, but adults as well. Something that Mr. Washington said. He said, Mr. Brown, I said, yes, sir. He said, if you want to become successful in life, he said, you must be willing to do the things today others won't do, in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. When we begin to embrace having a winning spirit, and how we can begin to maintain and sustain that winning spirit, that you must be willing to do the things today others won't do, in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. What is it that most people won't do? Most people don't take care of themselves. See, in order to have a winning spirit and maintain it and take yourself to the next level, Einstein said, the thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. So part of what one must do when you begin to look at yourself and you've achieved some major goal, now it's time for you to examine yourself, to look at what got me here. What will it take for me to get to Hawaii? What is it I need to do differently? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Why is that important? Because as we begin to look at ourselves and we raise the bar on ourselves, in order to do something you've never done, you've got to be someone that you've never been. So as you look at yourself, assessing yourself is very important. What help, what assistance will you need to go to the next level? But in addition to that, you must also get some caring feedback. There's some things about ourselves that we don't know. And so therefore we need some caring critics in our lives to tell us some things that we don't know about ourselves. How many have ever smelled somebody's breath? It was offensive and you didn't tell them. Raise your hands, please. Yeah, you need people to tell you when your breath is offensive. I'll never forget, I was giving a motivational presentation in New York, and as I was going back and forth, one of my staff members had a note in his hand. He was new, so I looked at him. My look was, I'm not coming there, because my regular staff members know, don't break my flow, don't break my concentration when I'm focusing and I'm moving. Don't break my energy level. And so his look was, I see you, but I'm not going to leave until you come here and get this note. And so I was somewhat annoyed by his presence. I went over and I got the note from him. I put it on the podium, and as I continued to talk, I glanced at the note. The note said, your fly is open. I turned red, but could nobody see it. I stepped behind the podium and I zipped my pants and I stepped from behind the podium again, and everybody said, oh, somebody told him. So I knew that this was an unspoken conversation that I could not proceed without addressing. I said, excuse me, I've been going back and forth up here, and somebody just gave me a note after being up here for an hour and a half that my fly was open. And I said, I want to know, why didn't somebody say something earlier? And a lady seated down front said, I thought it was a part of your presentation. I said, I'm going to pray for you. But the point is that as we look at ourselves and look at where we want to go, in order to get there, it's going to take a team effort. And part of being a part of a team, you must be accountable to each other. You must have respect for each other. But you also have to give candid, straight feedback to help each other grow to the next level. Because none of us can get there by ourselves. Joe Frazier, former heavyweight champion, said, all of us at different times in our lives are like a blind man standing on a corner waiting for someone to lead us across. And all of us have our moments in the Garden of Gethsemane. All of us need some direction and some help at some point in our lives. The other thing that's important, not only is it possible for you to achieve your goals and that you must believe in yourself and your abilities and your talents, but it's also necessary that you constantly look for ways to challenge yourself, to push yourself, because it's easy to rest on your laurels. It's easy to talk about what you used to do. Used to bees don't make any honey in life. Other thing that's important, repeat after me, please. Leap and grow your wings on the way down. Yeah, see, most people never achieve their greatness in life because most people don't take any chances, ladies and gentlemen. Most people go through life trying to play it safe. I remember when I looked at Dr. Peel and I saw what I wanted to do as a motivational speaker, and then when I started going home, my mental conditioning said, Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't have a college education. Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't have the money. You don't have the contacts. How many ever thought about something you wanted to do and you talk yourself out of it? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. That inner conversation what keep most people living a life of mediocrity. There's an old African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. In order to achieve your goal, in order to begin to tap into your greatness, you've got to become a risk taker. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? I like what Helen Keller said, life is short and unpredictable. Eat the dessert first. And so as you look at yourself, you've got to become a risk taker. You've got to begin to challenge yourself. So yes, it's possible that you can live your dream. It's necessary that you have a game plan, that you write your goals down. Something else that's important is it's necessary that you have balance. I never forget when I had my most productive year in business last year in September when I was looking at and reviewing my records and numbers. I said to John Leslie, I said, John Leslie, look at what your father has done, son. I said, I don't know what it is to have a father to teach me how to tie a tie, to pick out a suit, or how to be a man. I said, you have an opportunity here. I developed into a speaker. You were born to speak. You have gifts and talents. I'm amazed. I've given you everything that I can give you. But now, son, you can take this even further. He said, thank you very much, Dad. I'm very proud of you. And he hugged me, and he went in his room, and as I was putting my papers together, he came back and he gave me a note. He said, I want you to read this before you go to sleep tonight. I said, not a problem. So as I got my papers together and feeling very proud, and I got in bed and turned the lamp out, something said, turn the light back on and read the note. And I read the note, and John Leslie wrote something that he paraphrased that I won't forget. He said, I'm very proud of you, Father. I'm very proud of what you have done. But he said, what if a man gains the world and loses his son? And he then went on to say something that Jackie Onassis said. She said, if I make all the money in the world and my children don't amount to anything, what have I done? And he had, P.S., thank you for your presence, but I want your presence. I want you here. And so it helped me to begin to realize the value of creating balance for the people that I care about in my life. The life is short and unpredictable. And so we don't know what tomorrow brings. So what is it that you want to do with your life? What kind of legacy do you want to leave? What difference do you want to make on the planet? At this stage of my life, it's about reducing the number of women who die from breast cancer. My mother died 6 years ago from breast cancer. So I'll be in the race to the cure and involved in raising millions of dollars for breast cancer research. How many men over 40 raise your hands? At this stage of my life, my goal every time I speak is to encourage men to get their PSA test and their rectal digital examination to reduce the number of men who die from prostate cancer. 3.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer and given a 2 to 3 year prognosis. I think doctors should not tell someone they're terminally ill. What they should say is that my knowledge and ability to help you has terminated. Now you need to turn to a power greater than yourself to help you through this experience. And so my PSA was 10.5, and because of a lot of people praying for me in conventional medicine and also changing my whole lifestyle, I've been able to reduce it now to 2.1. So I encourage all men to get their prostate examination, and I'll be glad when they can check our prostate by looking in our ears. There's got to be a better way. Here's the other thing I want you to think about, please. Repeat after me, please. You got to be hungry. Mr. Washington said, Mr. Brown, what do you want to do with yourself? I said, sir, I'd like to be a disc jockey. He said, Mr. Brown, if you want to be a disc jockey, you've got to be hungry. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, people that are hungry are relentless. People that are hungry are unstoppable. People that are hungry make it happen no matter what. If you want to make it, Mr. Brown, in broadcasting, a highly competitive field, you have got to be hungry. We made it possible for you, young man, to get a full scholarship at Florida A&M University in speech and drama. Why didn't you take advantage of it? I said, sir, did you know? He said, no. What are you talking about? Several teachers had a meeting with me and said that I wasn't college material. They said that I needed to do something with my hands. And they got me a job at the Miami Sanitation Department, sir. I make $8 an hour. He said, Mr. Brown, I don't care what they said, but what did you say to yourself? Did you believe that you could succeed at Florida A&M University? I said, no, sir. No, sir. I didn't believe that I could. And something he said that I'll never forget. He said, Mr. Brown, sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in. When you begin to look at where you are in the industry, when you begin to look at the possibility of increasing the number of customers that you get and getting them faster, when you begin to look at expanding your growth by 5%, the only reason that your chairman and CEO could put his name and reputation on the line and say, we can do this, is because he believes in you. And even if you don't believe it, shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, I'm glad the chairman believes in me. Do that right quickly, please. And so as you begin to look at yourself, always understand that there are challenges in life, there are opportunities and things and ways we can grow that we don't even realize, but having people in your life to believe in you is very important in reaching the next level. And as he talked about being hungry, I began to think about the fact that I could, in fact, compete with the best. He said, Mr. Brown, I want you to listen to Paul Harvey every day. He's the world's greatest communicator. Emulate him. Listen to how he speaks. Work to develop your mind and work to develop your communication skills, because once you open your mouth, young man, you tell the world who you are. So I started training and drilling myself, and finally I came to him one day and I said, Mr. Washington, I've done the things that you've told me to do. What else do I need to do now? He said, Mr. Brown, you got to be hungry. I said, why do you keep saying that? He said, are you hungry to get that house for your mother? I said, yes, sir. He said, always have compelling reasons on why you do something, young man, because you're going to face a lot of disappointments in life. You're going to face more rejections than yes, but you've got to be hungry. Don't lose your hunger. Always strive to get on top in life, because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. I said, yes, sir. So I went to apply for a job on Miami Beach. Milton Butterball Smith, the WMBM, was the disc jockey and the program director. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I like to be a disc jockey. Young man, you have any journalism in your background? No, sir, I don't. You have any experience in broadcasting? No, sir, but I've been training myself. Let me audition for you, sir. Let me show you how good I am. He said, I'm sorry, we don't have any job for you. I went back and I told Mr. Washington, I said, Mr. Washington, they said no. He said, don't take it personally. Most people are so negative, they have to say no 7 times before they say yes. You got to be hungry. Go back again. Make no your vitamin. Yes, sir. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I like to be a disc jockey. I know what your name is. Weren't you here yesterday? Yes, sir. Didn't I tell you no yesterday? Yes, sir. Then why are you back today? Well, sir, I didn't know whether or not somebody was laid off or somebody was fired, sir. Nobody was laid off or fired. Now get on out of here. I came back the next day. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I like to be a disc jockey. I know what your name is. Weren't you here the last 2 days? Yes, sir. Didn't I tell you no the last 2 days? Yes, sir. Then why are you back today? Well, sir, I didn't know whether or not someone got sick or someone died, sir. No one got sick or died. No one was laid off or fired. Now don't you come back here again. I came back the next day talking loud, looking happy like I was singing for the first time. Hello, Mr. Butterball, how are you? He looked at me with rage. He said, go get me some coffee. I said, yes, sir. I became the errand boy for the disc jockeys. I'd go get their lunch and their dinner, and I'd stand in the control room watching them move their hands on the control board. And I would not leave until they would ask me to, knowing at some point in time my time would come. Then pretty soon they trusted me to pick up entertainers that came to town in their big, long Cadillacs and drive them all over Miami Beach. Entertainers like Dinah Ross and the Supremes, the Four Tops and the Temptations. I would drive them all over Miami Beach in their big, long Cadillacs. I didn't have any driver's license, but I was driving like I had some. Then one day, I was at the radio station, and a disc jockey by the name of Rockin' Roger was drinking while he was on the air. He was slurring his words. He was so drunk it was obvious he could not complete his show. It was a Saturday afternoon, and I was the only one there, looking at him through the control room window, walking back and forth, young, ready, and hungry. I was saying, drink, rock, drink. Drink, rock. I'd have gone to get him some more if he'd asked me to. Then pretty soon the phone rang. It was the general manager, and I answered the phone. I said, hello? He said, young boy, this is Mr. Klein. I said, I know. He said, Rock can't finish his program. I said, I know. He said, would you call one of the other DJs in? I said, yes, sir. I hung the phone up. I said, now he must think I'm crazy. I called my mom and my girlfriend Cassandra. I said, y'all come out on the front porch and turn up the radio. I'm about to come on air. I waited for about 20 minutes and I called him back. I said, Mr. Klein, I can't find nobody. He said, young boy, you know how to work the controls? I said, yes, sir. He said, go in there and segue the words, segue the records, but don't say nothing here. I said, yes, sir. I couldn't wait to put a fast record on. I said, look how this is me, LB, Triple P, Les Brown, your platter playing papa. There were none before me and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single and love the mingle, certified, bona fide, indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction and a whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry. Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, you got to be hungry. Do that quickly, please. The people that are hungry are willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. People that are hungry, always pushing the envelope on themselves. People that are hungry, embrace change. People that are hungry realize in this era that Peter Drucker calls the era of the 3 C's, accelerated change, overwhelming complexity, and tremendous competition, that you must be versatile, you must be adaptable, and you must be flexible. People that are hungry believe, always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. People that are hungry have an uncommon desire to win. They remember the words, I choose not to be a common man. It's my right to be uncommon if I can. I seek opportunity, not security. I do not wish to be a kept citizen, humbled and dulled by having the state look after me. I want to take the calculated risk, to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to live from hand to mouth. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the still calm of utopia. I will never cower before any master, nor bend to any threat. It's my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to face the world boldly and say, this I have done. That's what it means to have the NCR winning spirit, to have an uncommon desire to win against incredible odds. Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, there's a winner in you. Do that now, please. That's the other thing in terms of having and maintaining a winning spirit and taking your performance to the next level. that none of us get there by ourselves, that we all must have some help. Repeat after me, please. Ask for help. Not because you're weak, but because you want to remain strong. And ask for help, and don't stop until you get it. Yeah, see, a lot of people won't ask for help because of pride. Pride cometh before fall. Because of ego. Ego means edging God out. Ask for help, not because you're weak, but because you want to remain strong. And ask for help, and don't stop until you get it. And a lot of people won't ask for help. And this is a time that you have to be open to the possibilities. You've got to be open for help and assistance. All of us have, as Joseph Campbell called, the long, dark journey of the soul, where we need some help, where we need some assistance, where we need some coaching, where we need some mentoring, where we need some direction, but because we can't see our way through. And so asking for help, being willing to ask for help is crucial. And maintaining a winning spirit, it's crucial in achieving your personal goals and professional goals. I'll never forget when I was first diagnosed with prostate cancer. It was a jarring experience. I eat well, I exercise, I wasn't sick. I'd read about General Norman Schwarzkopf and Arnold Palmer and Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte, and I was doing a radio program just to raise awareness about prostate cancer. And the guy said, "Mr. Brown, what made you come?" And I said, I'm doing a radio program on this, and I never ask people to do something that I haven't done. He said, "I'm sorry to tell you, but you have it." I said, "Is that right?" "Yes, your PSA is 10.5. "What does that mean?" 1 to 4 is normal. "Is that right?" "Yes." That was a jarring experience. And I had to talk to people and ask for help. One of the most humbling experiences I ever had. When I'm the person that always help people, always encourage people. Never been sick, never been hospitalized in my life. It's a very humbling experience, but also produced a lot of growth mentally and emotionally and spiritually in me. And so I want you to look at who are the people that you need to deepen your relationship with. What are some key relationships that you need to begin to embrace, and people that you need to spend more time with that can enrich you, that can empower you. Most people never ever achieve their goals, and most people never develop a winning spirit because of the fact they have too many toxic, negative, energy-draining people in their lives. Look at the people that you communicate with most and ask yourself the question, what kind of person am I becoming because of this relationship? Is this person enhancing me? Do they enrich me mentally, professionally, and personally, and spiritually? Something George Washington said. He said, "It's better to be alone than to wish you were." So you got to look at the people in your life and get the toxic, negative energy drainers out of your life and surround yourself with an army of allies, people that can help you grow. Dr. Johnny Coleman out of Chicago said, if you can't bring the people up in your life, for God's sake, don't let them take you down. And that might even involve family members. I remember when I wanted to go on the road to become a motivational speaker, and I was catching a Greyhound bus from Miami to Orlando, Florida, and my twin brother said, "Leslie, why don't you stay here? You know, you've got a good job at Sears. They love you there." And I said, I got to speak. This is what I love to do. This is my dream. I want to help people. I want to be like Dr. Peel. And I was a laughing stock of the people in my family, in my neighborhood. And you're going to have ideas and things you want to do, and people are going to laugh at you, and they're going to doubt you, and many times you're going to doubt yourself. And then I saw a billboard one day that said, it might be insane to live with a dream, but it's madness to live without one. And so as you look at yourself and look at your goals and look at your dreams, and if you don't have a dream, get one. They said people that are aiming at nothing in life end up hitting nothing dead on the head. Begin to challenge yourself and say, what is it that will give my life a sense of meaning? What is it that will give my life a sense of value? What is it that I can do at this point in my life that I can make a difference? When I leave here tomorrow, I'll be flying to Washington, D.C., where we'll be in Lorton Prison, working with a prison program to reduce the recidivism rate and working with juvenile delinquents on Sunday. And that gives my life a sense of meaning. What is it for you? What turns you on? What is it that you know that you can do, living a life of contribution, that because you came this way, the world will never be the same again? Horace Mann said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind.
You survived 1 out of 40 million sperms. You were born to win. You were born to make a difference. You are a miracle in operation. You showed up to do something. I remember the words of Senator Edward Kennedy in eulogizing his nephew. He said he had everything except length of years. He had everything except length of years. We've been blessed to live in 2 centuries. Someone said life is God's gift to us, and how we live our lives is our gift to God. So what do you want to do with the time that you have left? What is it that's going to be different because you showed up? Repeat after me, please. There's greatness in me. There's more for me to express than I've done thus far. I'm not through yet. I've got some more good stuff in me. Yes. Now here's something else that I want you to begin to look at. A lot of people go through life mourning and groaning. I'm reminded of a man who was walking by a porch one day, and some gentlemen, they were on the porch and they were talking, and there was a dog that's mourning and groaning. And the guy was curious. He came back and said, "Excuse me." He said, why is the dog mourning and groaning? He said, "Because he's laying on a nail." He said, "Well, why won't he just get off?" Guy said, "It's not hurting bad enough for him to get off. It's just hurting bad enough for him to moan and groan." How many of you know people, all they do is moan and groan? All they do is moan and groan. And so part of what you want to do is you want to develop make it happen energy. It's been said that there are 3 kinds of people in life: those who watch things happen, those who make things happen, and those who don't know what happened. And so you want to now begin, as you think about your goals, you think about your dreams, you think about your family, you think about your community, you think about the nation in which you represent, as you think about your professional goals, you want to think about what is it that I can do, the make it happen energy. What difference, what impact will I make? As we begin to look at the recreational time that you spend here, time to reflect and to renew and to go back, and how is it that you're going to reinvent yourself? What is it that you can do that you will become the catalyst to inspire other people, that as we get ready to go to Hawaii next year, that the number of people that will earn their way there because of your inspiration, because of your example, will be double this crowd that's here today? What is it that you can do that can set the pace for everybody else, that when you go back, people will see something different in you, because you're not a winner who just happened to do it by luck, but this is who you are. This is a statement of your own personal commitment and your character and your integrity and your own high standards that you've set for yourself. Someone said, "Do not go where the path may lead, but go where there's no path and leave a trail." How is it that you're going to leave a trail that others can be inspired? Others will capture the vision that we're going to grow the company by 5%, and we're going to do it no matter what. How is it that people get inspired by your example to be self-motivated and self-driven and self-directed? As you begin to focus on that, what message am I going to send out when I go back home? That's crucial in achieving your personal goals, in achieving your community goals, in achieving your professional goals. The other thing that as we begin to reflect on ourselves, and it's an interesting thing at this stage of my life, looking at what is it that I value most and what is it that I want to do with the time that I have left. I love working with kids. How many of you love working with children? Love working with kids and making a difference in their lives. And one of the things I realized myself is that don't let the child die within you. Have some fun. Life is just too short not having fun. Life is too short not finding ways to enjoy yourself. Scripture says to us, in all things give thanks. Learning to laugh at yourself. Learning to just find some moments to reflect. Find things that you can just find some happy moments that you can cherish. Learning ways that you can enrich and enhance other people's lives and help take them to the next level. I had a high school principal who said that love and happiness are perfumes you can't sprinkle on others without getting a few drops on yourself. What is it that you can do? What love, what happiness, what assistance, what coaching, what support, what ways that you can begin to make a difference in the lives of those that you are able to impact, the people that you are able to touch. Think about, how is it that I can make a difference in their lives? Other thing that I think that's important, finally, as you begin to look at maintaining the winning spirit and beginning to challenge yourself to go to the next level, and knowing that you have more within you to achieve. Since greatness is possible, then being excellent is not enough. Nobody will ever say when a Larry Bird, formerly of the Boston Celtics, was at a basketball game, nobody will ever look at him on a camera and say, boy, he was an excellent player. No. The Bird was a great player. Bird was awesome. Nobody will ever say Michael Jordan was an excellent player. I think that anybody through practice and repetition can perform at the level of excellence. But when you're pursuing your greatness, you don't know what your limits are, so you act like you don't have any. So as you begin to look at yourself, how is it that you can begin to act, and who is it you have to be in order to begin to tap into your greatness? Because you have greatness within you. Even if you don't believe me, I don't care. Everything that I'm saying, you already know it. Everything that I'm saying, it's a part of your own philosophy of life. Otherwise, you would not be here. And so as you begin to look at what is it that you need to do, what is it that you need to begin to plug in within yourself, you've signed your name and you've said, I know I can do more. I know that I can take my performance to the next level. I know that I can make a difference. I know that I can make a contribution. I'm willing to make a commitment. I'm willing to take a stand. Most people aren't willing to do that. There's no saying stand up for what you believe in, because you can fall for anything. But I can tell you, as you begin to look at yourself, that you have more than you can ever begin to imagine. You have more talents, more abilities in you than you can ever begin to envision right now. But in order to get to it, you've got to be a risk taker. In order to get to it, you've got to stretch. In order to get to it, you've got to reach beyond your comfort zone. In order to get to it, you've got to become a change driver. In order to get to it, you've got to be unstoppable, have dogged determination not to give up no matter what. So I like to leave these words with you. Something that my mother used to love to hear me say before she passed. Something that I think that anybody with a winning spirit can see the value of embracing. At this stage of my life, it's about how many people that I can impact and let them know, because you've been diagnosed with a life-threatening disease, it does not mean that it's a death sentence. At this stage of my life, it's about going into prisons and juvenile detention centers, letting young people know that there's a better way and teaching them how to begin to find and embrace that better way. At this stage of my life, it's coaching and developing people, helping them learn how to improve their communication skills and take them to the next level. What is it that you want to do with your life, with the time that you have left? And I like to dedicate this to the winning spirit in you. I like to dedicate this to your goals and to your dreams. It says simply this: if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it, and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famish, or gold, sickness or pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want, if dogged and grim you besiege and beset it, with the help of God you'll get it. This has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy, Leslie Calvin Brown, saying, continue to have that winning spirit, because you have greatness within you. Thank you very much.
A lot of people have been wondering. I've been using people hopefully from all over the room, from all over the world, working a little bit with the way you think, the way you make decisions. And the question that was just handed back to me is, how come you're avoiding this area right here? We'd really like to know, I mean, we understand what the vision is. We like that. But we'd really like to know what it is that this group of people are thinking. Am I right? Was that message representative of the group? Yes? Excellent. You don't have to leave where you are, and if anybody here feels like firing me, you can't do it until 11 o'clock. So just kind of hold off a little bit. And I have here a pack of playing cards. They're from a Las Vegas casino, and they are still sealed. Now, people ask me, how do you kind of use these, a little souvenir for you too, how do you use these people reading abilities to your own personal advantage? It's a fair question. This is the most difficult thing I will do all 3 days, is open this. There we go. A fresh pack of playing cards. We'll give these a little bit of a mix. How many people are familiar with a little place to the west side of the United States called Las Vegas? By a show of hands. How many people have ever heard of Las Vegas? Yes, it's a nice place. I kind of live a state over in California, but I like to visit every now and then. And I'll kind of spread through these for the camera so that they can see that they are mixed and different. And we will put rubber bands around the pack. This will keep this from becoming a game of 52 pickup. Well, there's a little game that was made famous in Las Vegas known as 21 or blackjack. The idea is to get as close to the total of 21 as you can without going over. But you have to have a better total than the dealer. And the only rule that's really important for everyone to understand is that sometimes when the dealer has one down card that we don't know and one up card, if that up card is an ace or a 10 or a face card, those are the only times that the dealer gets to peek at that hidden card, because if they already have 21, they have to tell you. Well, when that moment happens, if I've been very careful about picking the right dealer, as soon as they know what card they have, I know what card they have. And you can understand conceptually, for me, that's a very good thing. In theory. So what we are going to do is to have a couple of our esteemed attendees right here pretend like they are dealers. And I'll play a couple of hands of blackjack with them, and you'll be able to see what it's like when you're sitting next to me at the table. Now, I must tell you, I've made this explanation and demonstration before, and many times in Baden-Baden or Monte Carlo or Las Vegas or Atlantic City, with more than 2,000 people in the room, it is not unusual for me to run into someone that I've met at one of these meetings. If that is the case, it would be a pleasure for you to come up and introduce yourself, but I ask you please not to sit down next to me at the table and say, honey, this is the guy that knows what card the dealers have before he looks at them. I'm just asking. Welcome. Very happy to see you. So, Mr. Nyberg, if you wouldn't mind, we'll begin with you. Stand up exactly where you are. I'm going to hand you the pack. We haven't prearranged anything, have we?
No. We haven't arranged anything.
You really don't remember what I set up with you ahead of time? Okay. And I thought she was difficult. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you to pretend like you're a blackjack dealer. I'm not suggesting that was ever a summer job when you were a teenager there in Sweden. I'm just saying, for a moment, pretending. And you're going to use this whole deck like it was your hole card or your down card. I'm going to ask you to hold the pack flat on your hand, like that was the table, and anywhere from the very first card to the, well, not the last because that's a joker, but anywhere from the first card to the bottom card, open up the deck somewhere and peek inside and just remember the suit and value of the card you peek at, then let the deck close up. Don't say it, just remember suit and value. Tell me when you're done. Okay? Yes?
Yeah.
Great. The only other thing I'm going to ask is that you not...
What do you want to do now?
Boy, if you were shorter, I could take you, but you're a pretty big guy. I have a feeling they got your back, too. I'm just guessing. What I would like you to do is to select anyone here in the second row and hand the pack to them. So much for hand. Please stay standing where you are. If you would, please stand up. The one other thing I didn't point out is please don't riffle through and look at lots of different cards. Just focus on one, but you're welcome to open up the pack wherever you want. Open it up in one place, peek inside, remember suit and value of the card you're looking at. Okay? Let it close up. Please hand it to someone down at this end of the row. And if you would please stand up. Same thing, open it up anywhere, look at, remember suit and value. Terrific. If you would please hand it to one of the people over here towards this tail end. Yeah, anywhere. Exactly the same thing. Take a peek, remember suit and value if you would. I'm turning so I can't see, and here he is 40 feet tall. Perfect. And if you wouldn't mind, maybe hand it to one of the people next to you. Terrific. Finally, a woman breaks into the group. This is a great moment. If you would please open the pack anywhere, look at, remember the suit and value of your card. All right? And if you would toss the pack back to me, please, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Nicely done. That's why we invited him. Here's what we're going to do. A little souvenir for you. These are yours to keep. I'm going to recommend a game a little bit later on, but I'm not so sure about this guy. I think he's awfully good at this kind of thing. I'd like everyone to kind of stand in front of their seat, but not to sit down yet. Stand in front of your seat, but don't sit down yet. And as I look at you, I'm going to name the cards that come to mind. Please don't say yes or no. Don't give me any visual or audible indication, but listen closely and see if I don't happen to name the card that you're thinking of. You're not thinking of a joker or an advertising card. You're thinking of a real card in the pack. Is that correct? Okay. Because I'm getting something strange about one of these cards, but maybe it's a repeater. Please don't say anything, but listen closely, because the cards that come to my mind right now are the Ace of Clubs, the Six of Hearts, Jack of Spades, and the Eight of Diamonds. If I named your card correctly, please sit down. Sometimes a greater distance means it takes longer for a particular thought to get to me. Mr. Nyberg, I have no explanation for our particular difficulty. But I would ask you both to sit down if and only if the cards that you are thinking of are the Five of Spades and the King of Clubs. Let's give them a hand for being clear thinkers. I knew they could do it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I have here the UAE Business Pages 2000 phone book. It is the entire United Arab Emirates. There are maps in the back, but here there's some 360, if I remember correctly. Didn't have time to memorize the whole thing. 365. Boy, a page for every day. 366. 366 different pages. Every two-page spread has 5 columns, so 10 columns to a two-page spread, and 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. About 80 different phone numbers to a column. So if you do the math, 80 times the 10 times 366, that's a lot of numbers. Now, there are area codes here, a 2-digit area code, a 04, a 02, a 03, a 05, a 06. And my question is, and it's really your choice, and it doesn't add that much time to it, but it's a technicality. Would you like to try this using the area codes or just the numbers? By applause, how many people are happy with just the numbers? And how many people would like to include the area code? Almost a tie, but we'll go for the area code just so we don't make anyone unhappy. The only people we're going to make unhappy is that means we have to add 3 more people to the mix. So, as I touch you on the shoulder, it doesn't matter if you read English, Spanish, Chinese, German. These 4 people, please head up on stage. You'll find little pieces of tape. Just stand in front of any one of them. We're going to have these 4 also, just so you don't think you got away with it. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 of you, please follow them. I would like you 2, please, to head up also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you, please? You were just watching yourself, and now all of a sudden you're part of the game. And if you would please help also. A nice hand for all of them. Terrific.
Thank you.
You're welcome. One of you might get to be set free. We'll see. I have here what I would like you to do, if you would please. Well, let's just run a little test. Always important to test ahead of time. We learned that earlier, didn't we? Open the phone book up anywhere, if you would please. Got a page marker here, but it doesn't really matter. Open it up anywhere. And I would like you to read that phone number, if you would please. I'll just put a page marker there. Read that phone number, if you would, out loud. Yeah, that one right there. What is that?
04
04
26
26
20
20.
36 306.
Terrific. Move it anywhere else. And read that one if you would, please.
06
Yes.
533 1785.
Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I want you now to turn to any page that you want, any 2-page spread. I just want to make sure there's lots of page numbers on it. That's my only concern, all right? I have inside of here big numbers. from 0 to 9. And what we are going to do is try and build a phone number. As we go along, I will ask you to hold these up against yourself, not to turn them around, not to switch them with other people. Just hold it right there like that. Doesn't matter if you know what it is or not. Just hold it right against yourself. Just like that. Terrific. One for you, one for you, one for you, and congratulations. You get to go back to your seat. And I'm going to have this whole line step just a little bit this way, just as you are. Just like that, right along that line. Perfect. Did you pick out a double page spread? Yes? Any page. This is NCR. You're happy with that page? There's a lot of advertising, but you're welcome to pick any page you want. Okay, go ahead and set that down. Do you write with your right hand? Do you write with your right hand or your left hand? Okay, so please, with your right forefinger, place it on either page and close your eyes. Let go with this hand. Close your eyes, and I want you slowly to begin moving your finger all over the page. Slowly begin moving your finger all over the page. No. Anytime, Mark, you feel like it, as she's sliding her finger, go left and right, up and down, all over the place. Anytime you feel like it, Mark, you call out, stop. He said, stop. Oh, you moved your finger again. It's your decision. Well, that's okay. Do you work for NCR? You're here with someone from NCR. Do you work for NCR or are you a guest?
I'm a guest and also work for NCR.
I understand. But if I don't say your name, Mark can't fire you. Now, actually, when Mark stopped you, you were over here. But if you want to keep your finger up there, it's up to you. This really is about free choice. Would you prefer your finger up here or down here where Mark stopped you? Doesn't matter. Put your finger wherever you want. I'm not forcing you. Do you want to? You choose here. Do you want to move it up a little, down a little, to the left, to the right? Exactly right there. A little higher, a little lower, or exactly right there? It's up to you. Are you happy, or do you want to move again? This is fine. Right here to the side, same kind of marker. Please lean in with the microphone so we can see. And right here, please read. This begins 06. 06
0653411708.
Almost. There's a dash. 06 dash 5341708. 5341708. Take a look. Take a look. Yours, please. Turn it around. 0 6. That's why there's a line at the bottom. Dash 5341708. They did it. Let's give her a hand. Congratulations. That was really great. Really, really great. A nice hand for all of them. Right back down this way. I'll take the numbers as you go. Come along. You're welcome to take the book if you want. It's okay. Thank you all very much. Feel free to call that number when you get back to your rooms. I think that's Lars' room, the direct dial line. If you have any suggestions you want to make about next year's conference, a nice hand for all of them once again. Thank you very much. And if you would please now join me in welcoming back the chairman of NCR, Mr. Lars Nyberg.
Thanks, Michael. My mic is on, good. Thanks, Michael. Good morning, everyone. It's a little bit of a different experience this morning, I thought. You had a live session of training that nothing is off the record with broadcasters. And you can't trust them for a second. I still want to urge all of you to really do your utmost and have the best year that you ever had at NCR this year, because I really want to see you next year. Let's have a look at that video.
It lies in the warm blue sea, on a compass bearing of 91 degrees from Dubai. Its name means the gathering place, and has played host to voyagers for 1,600 years. It is the farthest spot from the mainland in the Northern Hemisphere. Its warm waters teem with bright fish with exotic names. And early travelers to this storied land were amazed when its natives appeared to walk on the water. Yes, we are going to Hawaii!
Do you wanna straight to Hawaii? Straight to
Paradise awaits you in 2002. Celebrate your winning spirit on Waikiki's most glamorous stretch of beach, the Hilton Hawaiian Village Beach Resort and Spa. 22 acres of lush tropical gardens, waterfalls, exotic wildlife, and priceless works of art. There's always something special going on in the village. So whether you prefer relaxing on your own quiet Pacific beach or playing a round of championship golf or tennis in one of the most beautiful settings on earth, you'll always feel pampered with specialized service. Our NCR champions will delight in the village experience. A perfect blend of luxurious accommodations, international cuisine, recreation, shopping, entertainment, and more. With this magical island as our backdrop, you'll want to be a part of the grand time when we come together next year in beautiful Hawaii.
That's going to be great. That's going to be really great. And as I said, I hope to see every one of you there. You know, nobody ever did anything great without a great challenge. And if you want to be great, you have to take great responsibility. And I think you are involved in something truly special at NCR. And your job is to communicate our strength to your colleagues, to your customers. Let them be part of this. That is, I think, what leadership is all about. In the end, you and I must commit to a goal. You put your name on the line to show your commitment to greatness. We all signed the signature wall yesterday. Now I want to show you what we have built together. This year, let us continue to work together to accomplish our goals, to meet the challenges, and to win, so we can all be together next year in Hawaii. And now, one more time, I want to say to all of you, thank you.
can hold us down. Oh, no, no, no. Hey, you're not beginners, and we're so glad you're around. Now we're saying thank you for everything that you do, night and day. You work hard in every way. You make quite a team, and together we're building our dreams. It's you, thank you. We're here today to thank you. We're looking so good. We're doing everything we should. And you know down in your heart, the best days are just beginning. You are the reason. You are the part in our name. Oh yeah. And we know without you, this team would not be the same. And now we're saying thank you for everything that you do, night and day. You work hard in every way. You make quite a team, and together we're building our dreams. It's you, thank you. We're here today to thank you. We've looked way up and way down. You are the best to be found, and it's because you got so. We're saying thank you for everything that you do, night and day. You work hard in every way. You make quite a team, and together we're building our dreams. It's you, thank you. We're here today to thank you. We're saying thank you for everything that you do, night and day. You work hard in every way. You make quite a team, and together we're building our dreams. You, thank you. You're the best there is, thank you. Everybody says, everybody says, everybody says, everybody says, everybody says, everybody says, everybody.